My name is Isakoto Misuguchi Takeda Kokonanda. So they call me George. We found out that life is expensive.
It all started with these chairs. So beautiful. We needed something to pep up the apartment. Then the dog, the skis,
And my contact lenses.
it really happened all in 1 week. The week we all went shopping together.
There was a sale on dresses. Sam found one, the luscious kind. Who can resist a cloud of fluff? But you can't wear cloth school coat with it. New evening coat, shoes, bag, and tiara for the hair.
Lulu just happened to pass by the most elegant ski outfit. But you can't ski without the boots, skis, poles, and ski gloves.
Beware those clothes for special occasions.
And George, the intellectual, couldn't pass out that portable electric typewriter, those albums, those art books, and the tape recorder. It really did happen all in 1 week. It looked so simple and so easy, all we had to do was charge it.
Old Dad had to move in the situation, help them control their spending. What are your goals? What do you really want out of life?
You mean for now or for the future?
Now and the future. What do you really want out of life? Very grand dreams, girls. But right now, let's dream for the next few years only.
Sam wants the social life of college. Lulu loves to travel.
And George wants to be a doctor.
Have you ever heard of a budget?
Oh, let's not spoil life with a budget.
We've got to organize our money so we can make our salary go further.
When you budget, you're taking a realistic look at what you want and then at how much money you have. Then you choose what you want most and plan ahead for it. You'll never have enough money to buy everything you want. With a budget, you always have to make some choices. What'll it be? Chaos or spending by design? Either this or this.
How did I get into this?
In a budget, there must always be balance and harmony.
A budget is just a way of worrying about money before you spend it, instead of after.
Pick a goal for yourself which you can achieve in a year or two.
I'd like to fly to Rome and study painting.
And you blew your money on a complete ski outfit which cost half the amount of your ticket to Rome.
I forgot about Rome when I saw the fur.
That's the point. A good budget helps you resist those unimportant lures.
You know, I feel differently about things I don't want and things I can't afford. Things I can't afford make me unhappy. Things I don't want leave me cold.
When you can't afford something, you feel inferior to it. When you don't want something, you feel superior to it.
Budgets help you to feel confident. Lulu wants to fly to Rome. If she takes the trip on credit on the fly now, pay later plan, she'll pay almost 1/4 more for the trip in interest charges. If the trip cost $400, she'd pay an extra $100 or $500 by charging it. For not planning ahead or budgeting for it, she is penalizing herself $100.
The trouble is, I just can't save. I feel that any loose money is for spending. And there are always those sneaky extras.
I know. Birthday and shower gifts every month, it seems. And after you're married, large amounts at certain times like doctor bills and car expenses.
I'll bet you're going to ask us to make note of every cent we spend.
Make lists of your needs. Don't leave anything out.
We found it hard at first to remember all the little expenses, like dry cleaning bills.
We spend an awful lot on cosmetics, shampoo, eye makeup, and food. We never realized how expensive food is.
I had told them that they must decide on and set aside a fixed amount for rent and food, your grocery allowance. Then you will try to get by on less than that.
How? Skip meal? Not me.
Eating less wouldn't hurt you.
Save money by buying food specials. Watch the ads. Suppose you use 2 pounds of butter or margarine a week, and you buy 4 pounds at the special price of, say, 50 cents a pound, as against the regular price of 75 cents. You spend $2. You save 25 cents on each pound of butter, or $1 whole dollar. If you could save $1 a week, that's $52 a year.
But we don't eat that much butter.
That's only an example.
Just on one item.
Now for the snapper. Think how much cash you would have to have in the bank to earn that amount of interest. In order to earn $52 a year in interest on your savings account, you would have to have about $1,000 in the bank. And you can save $52 a year by buying food on special.
You know, if we saved just $2 a week by watching specials on food, we could save over $100 a year.
Your other fixed expense is rent. Can you change your rent?
Oh, no, we like it here.
It's close to the bus.
We walk to the market.
All right. Get to work. See you later.
We each took our total income in silver dollars and started to play budget.
We placed our fixed expenses, which were food and rent, but then the big shuffling game began. How much to put where is the problem.
In a department store. I have to be dressed to the teeth all the time. Clothes department. A very tall stack. Better take away from transportation or food.
I'm a receptionist in a big company. Have to eat in expensive restaurants once in a while. Better allow more for food.
Working in the library is a break. I don't have to wear good clothes, just flats and sweaters. But I need more money for books.
How's it going?
You know, Dad, I found out something. You can only spend your money once.
What a revolting thought.
You can only spend your money once. Once it's spent, it's gone. That's not exactly true. You can invest it, you know. Right now, let's let the girls invest a little time in budgeting. You can stop the film now and try to guess how each girl proportions her budget. See you later.
Hi. I hope you did better by us than we did. I spent much too much on cosmetics, eye makeup. But when I found out I spent 1/5 of my money on shoes, I flipped.
The first week on a budget is the hardest.
Medical school is a long, hard struggle. Guess how much I put aside? 1/4 of my check goes into the bank.
As your life changes, your budget changes.
You know, I feel differently now that we've done all this budgeting. When the clerk in the store asks me what price I want to pay, I just tell her my budget won't let me spend so much. I don't feel embarrassed anymore.
And you'd think we'd get mad at the budget, but we don't. It's a comfort. It's something for us to lean on.
That's because it's hand-tailored.
Old Sam loves that social life of college. She's planning for it. And I like traveling. And I want to be a doctor sometime.
So we'll have to budget for it
Know ourselves
and plan ahead
for our future.
so we can afford our dreams. We hope you can afford yours. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing? I'm going to start rewinding here. Well, I talked to you. So, in case you don't know, I'm Skip Alzheimer, and I created Avis Geeks. I collect old educational films, and this is a telethony right here. So I'm actually digitizing these live over the internet and beaming them to you in your living room. This is impromptu. I generally try to schedule things, but I don't know. I had a wild hair. So here I am. I'm broadcasting to a lot of different places, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, and a couple of groups. So some of you I know by name, by face, or by credo. I don't know. Anyways, so tonight's theme is, it's called quarantine, but it's really just kind of the state that we're in. And it gives me an opportunity to share some films with you guys. I did pull a couple of disease-related things. Soapy the Germ Fighter and Communicable Diseases, They Just Get Around, which we will probably show later. But I'm going to try to just show stuff I haven't seen yet, and try to keep it light. Also, I know a lot of people are forced to be working at home this upcoming week, so we're going to do lunch. 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. I'll show a couple of films, maybe an hour's worth, just to kind of break up the doldrums, to kind of get you off reading the news. We'll try to make it as germ-free as possible. I mean, when we watch films we've never seen before, sometimes a germ will sneak its way in. But we'll make it light. You get to get caught up in the nostalgic, wonderful, horrible past and not think about what's going on. I'm doing this kind of for my own sanity, and hopefully it will rub off on you. So anyways, that last film was really awesome. Consumer Education Budgeting, 1968. Those ladies were hip, and the color on that film was really stunning. Some of you that follow what I do know that not every film has that color. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is watch some films here. This one's a little bit of jab at the current events that we're dealing with, and we have been dealing with. It's called Why Study Science. Maybe this will explain things. Why it was important to study science back in the day. This is an older film. It's black and white. Made by Young American Films, and I think Centron made it, or I believe it's Centron, maybe McGraw-Hill. But hey, do me a favor, sound out and tell me where you guys are watching from. I'd love to see how far we're getting with all this stuff. And this is live, so there will be mistakes made. There will be footage of my chest and my t-shirt and not me actually talking to you at the camera as I kind of bounce around. Anyways, yeah, so this film, Why Study Science? Enjoy.
Getting late. We better get back.
I see the can.
Smell that coffee. You go on and tell the mother we're back. I'll bring the catch as soon as I clean it.
Hi, dear.
Well, hi.
Jack said you did all right.
Well, they ought to make enough for supper. How did you and Betty do?
Oh, we came in early so that we could get some packing done and get an early start in the morning.
Don't remind me going home. Can't we squeeze in one more day?
Oh, I'm afraid not, son. I have to be back to work on Monday.
Mm-hmm. And you and Betty have to get ready to go back to school.
School already. Gee, seems like the summer just started.
You know, Dad, this camping out's been more fun than any vacation I've ever had.
That's fine.
It surely has. I hope we can do this again next summer. Can we?
Oh, Betty, that depends. Maybe your mother would rather do something else next summer.
Oh, no. I've enjoyed this as much as anybody. There's something so relaxing about being out like this.
Well, let's finish relaxing and touch it all off with a marshmallow. What do you say, Mom? You hold these and I'll see if I can get the fire going.
Boy, just look at those stars. You almost feel as if you could touch them. Do you suppose we ever will?
Will what?
Oh, reach the planets, the moon, space travel.
No doubt about it. Oh, maybe it'd be a long time before we reach the planets. They're pretty far away. But a space station first, and from there, on out to the moon. That's on the way, and maybe quicker than we think.
Why, Dad, you're the last person on Earth I'd expect to believe that.
Well,
Why, Betty, your father's not entirely lacking in imagination.
That's what I mean. Imagination, science fiction stuff. Dad's always been one for the facts.
Well, I know one thing. If they do build a space station in my lifetime, or send a ship to the moon, I'm going to be ready to go. I'm going to have my name on the waiting list.
are you?
Gonna go? Sure.
No. I mean, are you going to be ready?
I don't see why not. It's gonna take someone with a spirit of adventure.
I still say, are you going to be ready?
I don't know what you're getting at.
The facts, as Betty says. The fact is, adventure will be just one little part of it. Right now, you and Betty will have to get ready for the other things it'll take.
Like what?
Like what you know, what you understand. What courses are you taking next year?
Oh, my schedule's already made out. In the 9th grade, you have to take mathematics and English and history.
No science?
Well, I had my choice of taking general science this year or next, but I put it off a year.
Then you put your trip off a year.
How come? What's the matter with you, Betty?
I was just trying to imagine the look on Mr. Bristow's face if he thought somebody had enrolled in general science just to get ready to go to the moon.
We are getting a little off the beam, aren't we? But only because we were talking about the moon. I could give you some down-to-earth reasons why I'd study science if I were the age of you two.
Uh-oh, here it comes. The facts.
Go on, Dad. You were saying?
Well, my father pretty much grew up with the automobile. And I did the same thing with the airplane. And you two kids, well, I guess you're a part of the atomic age.
Yeah, or the television age.
That's what I'm getting at. If you want to be an important part of your own age, you have to be able to keep up with it. Or, if you can, keep ahead of it.
There's no doubt what we need trained scientists.
Well, I've had my year of general science, and I see no reason why I should take another course next year when I'm a senior. I don't want to be a scientist.
She just wants to hook some guy.
All right, so I want to get married and have a family. Is there anything wrong with that?
Nothing, except your idea that you'll never need science to keep house.
Sure. And who has the big share in keeping us healthy? Your mother. Planning nutritious meals for us, taking care of you when you were babies. Suppose you don't find the right man right away. Why, many worthwhile careers for women. Physical therapy, nursing, medical and dental laboratory technicians. You have to have some knowledge of science in order to get one of those jobs.
Here's something else. When you and Jack were little and wanted to know, what made it rain? What made the telephone work? Whom did you ask? Not Dad. He was at work. What I didn't learn about science in school, I had to dig out of the Encyclopædia later to satisfy you. So you see, women need to know as much about science as some men do.
There you said something, Mom. But what about me? I'm no Edison or Einstein.
Maybe not. Maybe you won't be another Edison, but how do you know you won't? Edison may not have been a scientist when he was your age either. But the sciences, chemistry, biology, and physics all give you a chance to discover while you're still in school where your interests are.
Maybe so, but won't there still be some jobs where you can get by without science? What if I turned out to be a big league pitcher or a concert violinist?
That'll be the day.
Whatever you work at, son, you're still a citizen with the power to vote. Living in a scientific age, we need citizens who know enough about science to make intelligent decisions about what they do. We've used science to prolong life, to increase security and happiness. But it can also be used for destruction. Are we going to use it constructively to promote peace and give the world freedom from want? It'll be up to you, and you too.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It gives a fellow a lot to think about.
Me too. 5 o'clock's going to come awfully early.
5 o'clock?
If we don't get started by then, we won't get home tomorrow night till after dark.
I think we better all turn in.
Aren't you two coming?
I'll be there in a minute.
Me too.
Yes, Jack. Some of you may be statesmen who must understand the impact and implications of science on society. You may well decide whether mankind is bettered or destroyed by the products of science. You will be ministers and social workers and psychiatrists who, through your comprehension of the adjustments men must make in a scientific age, can help us to grow spiritually and socially as we grow materially. But apart from future benefits, you will find the various fields of science are absorbing studies right here and right now while you're in school. Science is fun. It helps you to learn, to know, and to appreciate. When you study science, you may go on field trips. You discover the marvelous interrelationships between all living things. You learn to read the history of the earth as it is written in rocks and fossils. You find out what makes things tick,
everything from a molecule to a living organism. In the study of science is found the most useful and satisfying knowledge of man. Knowledge of his physical world, its past, its present, and its future. And in your moments of relaxation, now and in the years to come, you will find the study of science leading you into fascinating pursuits. Photography, collecting. Why study science? Study science because you and Betty and the Nancys and Bills and Joes and Janes all over the country will find in the study of science a richer, more rewarding life.
All right, to rewind this. We're all excited about the color footage of the hot late 60s girls talking about budgeting, but man, we lost them with the black and white. It's funny. Thank you for sticking by me. All right, so some things I've pulled tonight just happen to be things that we haven't seen yet. I have a collection of over 27,000 films, and surprisingly, I haven't seen all of them. And so we do things like this as a way to watch these things and also share them with you. The reason why I collect films is to show them, so here we are. And hopefully we share something that will not get us knocked off of YouTube because of whatever, some copyright robot. We got a bent reel here, so I have to hold the film so that it doesn't kink against the bent part of the reel. Really, I should be using a new reel. There's a lot of best practices and then kind of what I do. And so I'm just holding this here so that it doesn't rub. Just so you know, this is a telecine, so it's got a camera in it, and it converts from film to video without a flicker, and the video then goes into a box that processes it, and then converts it into an MPEG-4, which we then broadcast across the internet. Science. Embracing almost 100 years of technology here. Very soon, 16mm will be celebrating its 100th anniversary. Alright. So that was great. Big fan. Big fan of young American films and Centron. Alright, this next film, I don't know what it is. I've not seen it, but it's called, wait, hold on. Invisible Walls. No idea. If it's pornography, I'll stop it, but I don't think it is, given where it came from. But a university, basically. But I have received what I call academic porn from a university, so I have to be careful. By academic, I mean it's people having sex, and it's shown in human sexuality classes. All right. As I said, never seen this before, so we'll see what it is. This is Invisible Walls. Enjoy.
Social interaction within a society is made possible through the expectations its members have about each other. Thus, only a bore gives us a medical report when asked, "How are you?" Much of our shared behavior makes little sense in itself. Today, there is no reason why grasping the right hand should indicate greeting. And green for go has no intrinsic meaning. However, life in America is made easier because everyone responds the same way to these arbitrary actions. As a child grows up, he learns a series of behavior patterns unique to his culture. These patterns both identify him as a member of this culture and allow him to interact easily with his neighbors. Every successful member of a society is aware of the meaning of a large number of gestures and facial expressions. Many of us could construct a dictionary of nonverbal communication. We are thus able to convey a wide range of attitudes by the way we use our bodies and our features. Just as we express ourselves with our bodies, we also communicate with the space around us. Everyone learns to consider a distinct area surrounding him as his own. This area, known as personal space, differs from culture to culture. In the United States, we mentally encase ourselves within an invisible wall that we build about 18 inches from our bodies. Although few of us are aware of this wall, in most instances we feel uneasy when it is breached.
Yeah, you like this very much. Would you say that this is as fancy or as nice as Topanga Plaza?
Well, it's a little different at Topanga Plaza, but they're both nice places.
Yeah.
I shop in both.
How about Century City? Do you think that's a fancier place than this place is?
Well, it's a new, it has...
In the sequence that you are seeing, our actor is violating the personal space of an unsuspecting subject. Notice that as the actor continues to breach his invisible wall, the subject becomes more and more uncomfortable. However, rather than make a verbal protest, he expresses his displeasure with his body. As is usually the case, the subject is not completely aware of the vocabulary he employs. Still, his use of body communication is quite expressive.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Our actors randomly stopped unsuspecting people. Then they advanced into their personal space while pretending to conduct a consumer preference survey. We were concerned only with the subject's reaction to the actor's aggression, and not with how people react to different types of people or different settings. Our actors, therefore, adhered to conventional modes of dress and grooming. The camera was hidden, and all sequences were shot in similar shopping centers. Everything was planned so that the subjects would react in the most unaffected manner possible to the advances of our actors. It turns out that most people have similar reactions to violations of their personal space. Our subjects reacted with a pattern of body stances and retreats, eye aversions, and limb movements. When initially stopped by the actor, most subjects immediately adopted a stance. Many, like the woman you are watching, stood facing their accoster. As the actor began bearing down on the subjects who faced him, they all averted their eyes, then shifted their weight or began to fidget. They were being forced to choose between retreating or standing firm, and the choice made them nervous. Some chose to stand firm, but leaned away from their accoster. Others also held firm, but positioned their arms in front of them. They touched their faces, crossed their arms, or put their hands on their hips. A few stepped into the one-arm thrust-out position that you are watching. Their guard now established, most subjects once again looked the actor in the eye. Of course, many subjects did not hold their ground, but chose instead to retreat. Often, as they stepped back from the actor, they tried to recapture his glance. Generally, they tried again to stand firm. On the other hand, those subjects who originally stood firm eventually began to retreat. For example, this woman repeatedly assumed a stance, averted her eyes, stepped back, caught the actor's glance, and then resumed her stance. Thus, each subject who faced the actor displayed some variation of a basic stance, retreat, stance pattern of reaction to violations of their personal space. Some subjects did not initially face the actor. A few of them were never able to set their bodies firmly. They started to retreat even before he began his advance. The other subjects who did not initially meet the actor head-on, over half the men and a few women, assumed a stance with one shoulder pointed toward the actor. When he began to violate their personal space, these subjects stood very firm. They rarely used their arms or leaned away from the actor. In fact, they often allowed him to brush right against their sides. However, from the beginning of the interview, they kept their eyes averted and refused to face the actor directly. Eventually, almost everyone who stood with one shoulder toward the actor began to fidget, retreated a little, and then reestablished his stance. Thus, the facing the actor reaction and the shoulder to the actor reaction are most likely two variants of the same pattern. This pattern of body movements enables the subject to escape an unpleasant situation while subtly expressing his displeasure. The girl you are watching can deny being impolite if she is challenged, for she has not verbally stated her annoyance. Men and women respond differently to violations of their personal space. Our women subjects reacted the same way to both the actor and actress. The majority of them faced their accoster, quickly retreated, and then tried to regain eye contact. In responding to the actor, men normally turned one shoulder toward him and then held their ground. While they were able to stand much firmer than women, they preferred not to look their accoster in the eye and usually tried to avoid directly facing him. However, when men were accosted by our actress, they reacted nearly the same way that the women did. Companions of the subjects reacted in at least two different ways as their friends were accosted. They either watched with a disinterested air, or they showed a fair amount of concern. Sometimes we do not object when our personal space is violated. For example, in the United States, the customs of some amusements, the infirmities of age, or the requirements of some occupations will all cause us to let others breach our invisible walls. People are not born encased in invisible walls. Thus, children in the United States will usually get closer to each other than will typical American adults. They will also touch more people and will permit a greater amount of physical contact than their parents will. In fact, adults respond to this by touching children more than they touch each other. Since children develop by emulating the adults of their culture, it is these adults who often unwittingly teach them their notions about correct personal space. This is why attitudes about personal space differ from culture to culture. Compared to people living in crowded countries, Americans are quite physically aloof. This may mean that as our population continues to increase, our present amount of personal space will become a luxury few of us can afford. Either we must face the prospect of enduring constant trespass of our personal territory, or we can learn to enjoy physical closeness.
Wow. That was awesome. Holy cow. All right. Somebody called online. Somebody said it online. They commented that I would love this film, and you're right. I do love this film. Sociology film, definitely. I had no idea. This is totally... I just picked up a film that I had not seen. Had no idea what it was. And it just happens to deal with personal space, which is something that is a hygiene concern now, obviously. But also the sense of what is... You know, there is this also sense of now that there's a possible virus transmission, like what is personal space now? How do we extend it? What do we consider to be our invisible wall? How is it extended in a way? Fascinating stuff. Wow. And a lot of people pointed out the hidden camera, candid camera kind of look and feel, and definitely that's what this is. You know, candid camera is really a bunch of sociological experiments played for laughs, but also it's like how do people respond, and what is the common response to somebody in a given situation. Man, that's so good. I'm very happy I have that. And this is why we watch films. You know, with a title like Invisible Walls, who knows what that would have been. Some of these I can guess. I can guess that Healthy Feet is about how to keep your feet healthy. And maybe we'll see that, maybe we won't. I tend to go for the titles that are a little bit more ambiguous and that could potentially, will surprise me. Alright. That was so good. I think that was Thinkbolt who commented that I would like that film, and he knows me. He's been to this archive before, and he knows my deal. He knows what I like. All right. Here's a film that I pulled specifically related to disease. It's entertaining. It's from the 70s, so we'll get back into the faded color that you guys love so much about my films. And this was in the first big batch of films that I got, like more than 20 years ago, from the Department of Human Resources in North Carolina. And, it's a Department of Human Resources. You'll see a title card from it. It's not made by them. It was part of their library of what they lent out to health departments and schools and universities and hospitals, etc. So this is Communicable Diseases. They just go around.
Let me see that, sweetheart. One. How do you feel?
I feel awful. My head aches, and my muscles hurt, and my voice is sore. I just don't feel so good.
You just got a cold. They're going around, you know.
Well, what can I do? I feel lousy.
Just stay in bed and keep warm.
Can Billy come over after school?
Of course not.
Why?
Why? Well, Shelley's got a cold. And a cold is an example of a communicable disease. Communicable diseases are diseases that pass from one person to another and may eventually involve the entire community. Although Shelley's cold may not be serious, there are other communicable diseases which are. In fact, infectious disease has changed the course of history time and time again. Ancient Athens was a powerful city. It fought many wars and won. But communicable disease struck. Thousands died, and the remaining people panicked and rioted. Eventually, the city was at the mercy of its enemies. Athens produced a culture on which our culture is based, and ideas which are a part of our lives. But the Athenians didn't understand disease, so they were helpless before it. Later, a far more powerful state, the Roman Empire, collapsed for mysterious reasons. A curious lack of energy and decay seemed to set in. Some thought it was the result of loose morals and high living. Yet it's likely that disease was also a factor, mainly malaria and typhoid, both communicable diseases. Communicable diseases can lie quiet for decades or travel with astonishing speed. In the Middle Ages, Europe was ravaged by the bubonic plague, the Black Death. Whole villages disappeared. Governments collapsed. Again, men were baffled and helpless. As the years passed, disease became better understood. But epidemics still caused enormous misery and death. At the beginning of this century, immigrants came to America in search of a better life. But many had communicable diseases such as tuberculosis. Health officials, realizing the danger, would not allow those infected to enter the country. They were forced to return to their native lands. Terrible disease on a wide scale is not just something that happened long ago. Until recently, polio was a common menace, particularly in summer. Children were warned to keep away from public places like movie theaters and swimming pools. Summers were not completely free from worry until 1955, when Dr. Jonas Salk developed the first polio vaccine. All communicable diseases are caused by germs. Bacteria, viruses, all kinds of tiny plants and animals. Because all these living things can be seen only under a microscope, a general term used when discussing them is microbes. If you ever really got a microscopic look at yourself, you might be surprised. You'd see a living forest of microbes covering your entire body. These microbes are with us all the time and cover almost everything. Most of the microbes around us don't cause problems, but there are certain kinds called pathogens which can cause very serious disease. Even though microbes are all around us, there are very few that are actually inside our body. Medical scientists say that nothing is inside us until it passes into our bloodstream, through the stomach walls or through the lungs or a break in the skin. This brings us to our next point. How does infection enter the body?
Which dress did Michelle make?
Michelle didn't make any.
One of the most common ways infection is spread is through inhalation, simple breathing.
Yeah, well, she said... They really took a lot of work. Thank you.
The common cold, measles, mumps, tuberculosis, and influenza can be spread in this manner. That's why it's a good idea to cover up when you sneeze or cough.
Why aren't you eating your apple?
I just want to wash it.
Oh, come on, Kathy. I just bought it at the market. It's perfectly all right.
So that doesn't mean it's clean.
Look, I'll be your official taster here. Give me your apple.
What's a gland dysfunction?
The second way infection can enter your body is through ingestion, eating or swallowing something. Contaminated water or infected food can carry typhoid, dysentery, cholera, and various food poisonings. It's a good idea to wash food carefully before eating it.
Come on, help me with this.
Ready, go, set, fight. Come on. You all right? A little cup there. Wow, you sure you want my syrup?
The third way infection can enter the body is through an abrasion or cut. These breaks in the skin can cause infection by allowing pathogenic microbes to enter directly into the bloodstream. It's a good idea to carefully wash and keep clean any break in the skin. Of course, we can't spend our lives worrying about getting sick, but there are a few things we should be aware of.
Hey, what's happening, people? Hey, how's it going? What's happening?
Even though our bodies have certain natural defenses against disease, excessive drinking, smoking, and drug taking all tend to weaken these defenses. For example, smoking has a tendency to destroy the tiny hair-like projections which sweep foreign matter out of the respiratory tract. Without these, our chances of getting sick are considerably increased.
You don't look like you're feeling too well.
It's sometimes hard to know if you're really sick. But if you think you're coming down with something, see a doctor or your school nurse.
Sounds to me more like a case of finalitis.
Oh, really? My stomach's really queasy and my head hurts. And, I feel really warm.
Wow, you're really serious.
For sure.
Oh, it's probably just a cold. I wouldn't even worry about it.
The common cold is really very complex. There's no single cold germ. Hundreds of different kinds of microbes can cause it. If you have a cold, your resistance to all disease is down. So take care of it before it becomes something more serious.
Yeah, well, come on, let's get something to eat. You feel better.
Another communicable disease common to young people is mononucleosis, often called the kissing disease. It's believed that the microbes which cause mononucleosis travel from one person to another in saliva, which means in sharing the same glass, a cigarette, or a kiss. Some of the symptoms are swollen glands, a sore throat, and a generally tired feel.
Ran down a hill about 12 o'clock. I ran back to the Avis hole. I'm going down to the fishing hole. You can come fishing all the time. Have you been fishing all the time? I'm going fishing too. Have you been fishing?
Hey, what's going on? Where you been, Jeff?
I've been in the bathroom. Is that okay?
What you doing in the bathroom?
I'll give you 2 guesses.
You wash your hands?
Did I wash my hands?
Hey, what you doing after?
Since the microbes which cause infectious hepatitis are most common in human excrement or feces, you can see the importance of washing your hands after using the bathroom. Infectious hepatitis should not be confused with serum hepatitis, which can be transmitted by using a dirty hypodermic needle.
Come on, Polly. Push your arm over. Come on, a little more. That's it, you got it. Fabulous. What's wrong with you tonight? Usually I always beat Rick.
I'm just getting over a cold. I don't feel so strong tonight.
What's all over your arm?
I don't know.
Looks like a rash or something.
Maybe I'm allergic to losing.
German measles, or rubella, is quite common among young people. Paul's cold is one of the few symptoms of the disease, but a rash usually appears and may last about 3 days. German measles usually aren't serious, but if you have reason to suspect you've got German measles, check with a doctor. Not only can you spread them around to your friends, but if you should somehow pass the disease to a pregnant woman, it could seriously affect her unborn child.
I think I might have gonorrhea.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, great. That means I might have gonorrhea also.
Yeah, I think you'd better go to a doctor. Look, I'm sorry.
Hey, Sheila, what's wrong?
Everything.
Something with Fred, huh? Hey, come on, it can't be that bad.
Let's go outside and talk.
Come on.
Today, the chances are 1 in 5 that you'll get VD before you get your high school diploma.
No. What's wrong, Fred? You look all right to me. Well, I've got all the symptoms. Well, like what? Well, I've got a yellowish discharge coming out of my penis. Wow. And when I go to the bathroom, it really hurts. Sounds like gonorrhea. You been to a doctor yet? No, not yet. You better go.
It appears as if Fred does have a venereal disease called gonorrhea. The only difference between venereal diseases and other communicable diseases is that they can be transmitted only by intimate sexual contact. It's important to see a doctor as soon as you suspect you may have a venereal disease because it can usually be treated easily and painlessly during the early stages. If the disease contracted with syphilis, Fred may have noticed a sore on his penis.
Okay, so what's wrong? Fred said that I should see a doctor. That I may have VD. Oh, Sheila, you're kidding. Well, how does he know? Well, he thinks he has it. And, well, if I didn't want to go to my family doctor, that I could go to the free clinic or to the public health department. He says they won't necessarily tell my parents.
Well, do you feel bad? Have you noticed anything wrong?
No. I mean, I feel fine.
It doesn't matter that Sheila feels fine because most females don't notice any symptoms at all. Venereal disease can be very serious. Untreated gonorrhea can cause sterility and certain blood infections. Untreated syphilis can result in blindness, heart damage, insanity, and even death. If you have VD or think you may have come in contact with it, seek help. It's just plain foolish not to. One way to protect against some specific diseases is by getting an immunization. An immunization is the introduction into the body of a killed or inactivated substance to which the body reacts by producing antibodies. These antibodies fight disease and prevent us from catching it. We are then called immune. Doctors recommend that infants receive a series of immunizations that will protect them against diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. In addition, at 1 year of age, a child should receive immunizations for polio and measles. But people today often forget the lessons of past years and ignore immunizations. They really are a very important part of staying healthy. Even if you didn't get your shots as a child, it's not too late to get them now. Still, the best defense you have against communicable disease is simply to stay healthy. Keep your resistance up.
Yeah, I dig. I've been drinking this high-protein drink, and I don't eat anything that's not natural, you know. I'm really into this health thing.
That's all well and good, but staying healthy involves more than a high-protein drink or eating natural food. It's important that we eat well-balanced meals, get a good night's sleep, find some time for exercise, and keep ourselves clean. In other words, practice sound personal hygiene. You know, we all have a responsibility to ourselves to take care of any illness we may have. But also, we have a responsibility to take care of each other. And that means not spreading disease.
Oops. It fell off the reel. Not enough leader on the end. Let's see if I can get this back on here. Good eye, everybody. Recognizing James Daly as being on Star Trek. Whoa! That didn't work. 1 second. This is frustrating. Sometimes this this wonderful piece of German equipment freaks out a little bit, and so I have to baby it. It's very complex. It's kind of expensive. Well, there's no kind of. It was expensive. It was actually almost as much as what I paid for my house. Give or take. But yeah, it's a workhorse. I like it. It's getting up in age though. It's getting kind of finicky. All right, let's try this again. All right, perfect. Okay, here we go. Let it rewind this. All right. Wow, thanks everybody for tuning in and all the comments. Really great to see some familiar faces, see some new people. And just as a reminder, a lot of us are going to be at home this week. So I've decided that as a challenge for myself and to possibly entertain or I don't know, give people a break. Every lunch time for this week at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, I'll show a couple of films, something you can sit and watch while you eat some lunch or sip some soup or do whatever, or blow off work or ignore the kids, you know, something like that. So we'll do that, Monday through Friday. It'll give us an opportunity to watch some films, and I guarantee you I will not play anything that is Germ related if I can help it. Although Invisible Walls, who'd have thunk that it would have been relevant. This last film, Communicable Diseases, They Just Get Around, I did know what the content was, and I gotta say that party scene is so great. Everybody there has got something. The guy who comes out of the bathroom and kind of like looks at his hands and then just kind of like goes, and then just kind of rubs, and then he goes for the potato chips. So good. So good. And somebody did mention like, oh, they're talking about syphilis and gonorrhea, but no mention of crabs. I do have another film that deals with that, but we're not going to watch that tonight. Maybe if you're good, I'll show it some other time. All right. Let's see what we got. That's not related to germs, bacteria. Let's see. This one might be good. Again, many of these films I have not seen. So I don't know what they're about. I don't know how good they are, how bad they are. And that's, so you are watching it at the same time that I'm watching it. And so it's like a premiere, a re-premiere. Something that probably hasn't been shown for, it's 2020 this year, right? So it probably hasn't been shown for 40 years, maybe longer. In this case, it'd be in a pain in the butt. You guys ever, some of you are film collectors, the Plilo cans, they're wonderful and they're annoying. You have to set them just right. Oh, this one comes with a guide, a teacher's guide, so maybe we'll ask some questions from the teacher's guide to fulfill the entire experience, the educational film experience. And this masking tape is probably 30 years old, so 1 second, please. If you like what you saw, you're more than welcome to donate to the Patreon page or buy AV Geeks DVDs, or just tell your friends that we're doing this. This is part of my goal with all these films, is to share them with lots of people and kind of remind folks of our past, our immediate past, so we can see how different things were, how similar they are, same problems, all that stuff. So, yeah, tell people about it. Send them the link. This should be archived on YouTube and on Facebook. So you're welcome to show it to somebody if they like it, if you like it. Yeah. But donating to Patreon doesn't hurt. It's like basically a subscription tip jar. You can donate a little bit, and that money goes into buying things like white tape to tape down films. What are some other things? Splicing tape, projector bulbs, reels, etc., etc. All right. So this film, Choosing a Job, Careers in the Office. So enjoy.
Before we begin today, the counseling office has asked me to get some information from you. How many of you have made plans for after graduation? Okay. How many of you made no plans? No plans at all, Ruth?
Not really. I have a summer job lined up. After that, I'll just wait around and see.
Well, you better not wait too long. Come on now, hasn't anybody made any plans at all for graduation?
I know I want to be a secretary.
That's fine, Linda. How about you, Carol?
Well, I guess I really don't know either, Miss Calvert. I think I want to do some kind of office work, but I'm not exactly sure what.
Well, in that case, maybe you should talk to one of the counselors. They might be able to put you into a career education program, and maybe that would help you make up your mind.
No shorthand, I see. Type about 35, 40 words a minute.
Well, when I spell the words right, it's really closer to 30.
And you get pretty good grades in math. Well, we're cooperating with several companies in a career education program. That might be something for you.
Is that where you go out and work after school?
Well, you do a little work, just enough to give you an idea of what the job is all about. Actually, you'd be more of an observer.
Oh, so that in one place I'd be watching what the secretaries do, and then in another place I'd see if they did bookkeeping or something like that?
Something like that. You wouldn't get paid for it, but you would get class credit for it. Does that sound like something you might be interested in?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Okay, I'll tell you something.
My counselor told me a lot about the program. But even so, I was kind of nervous when I got to the first place. I didn't know what to expect, especially from the people.
Good morning. You must be Carol.
Yes, Carol Jansen.
Fine. Come with me,
But
please.
Mrs. Lewis, she was the supervisor of the section I was assigned to. She was very nice.
I'll take you up and you'll meet the girl.
Girl?
Usually there were 4 clerk typists in Mrs. Lewis's section.
Carol Jansen.
But right now one was on vacation.
This is Teresa.
A couple of them were about my age.
And Burma. And this is going to be your desk, dear, so make yourself at home and I'll be right back with work for you to do.
I didn't have too much trouble with the straight typing. It was just like the classes at school. But some of the handwriting I got was like secret code. I wonder where they went to school. I had the same problem with some of the dictation tapes. Even when people know what they want to say, typing from tapes is always slower.
The format's good and the copy is clean. No big erasures or anything like that. But this word and that word, they're both spelled wrong.
Oh, I see they are, but I know how to spell them both.
I don't doubt it. I'm sure they're both typographical errors, but it's really up to you to check your work before you turn it in.
Well, I was just trying to keep up my speed.
I know. But if your typing is not accurate, it doesn't matter whether you do 1 word or 100 words a minute, now does it?
No, I guess not.
Well, don't worry.
Filing is easy, if you know the alphabet. But if you let your mind wander and misfile something, then somebody's really got problems. This is an order from Beckman and Company, but it's directed to Paul Stern. So who should I file it under, Beckman or Stern?
Well, that's a good question. Let's see it.
Running errands was kind of fun. I used to think that if you worked in an office, you had to be a secretary or something like that. Now I see what they meant in school, about there being so many different kinds of office jobs. Hi.
Hi.
Mrs. Lewis said this has to go out by messenger right away.
Okay. You new in that department?
No, not really. I'm here on a career education program.
Oh. You, sure you can find your way back?
Oh, sure. Well, maybe you better show me which way to turn after I get by the accounting department.
All right. My name's Ken. What's yours?
Carol. Before long, I'd caught on to the job and all the office routines. They had a rule to cover everything, and everything was run strictly by the clock. Oh, they had good benefits, and that's important, I guess. But I wasn't sure if a job like this, in a big company, was right for me. My next assignment was different. This was a small company of about 25 people.
Enter the number. Okay? You try it now.
Good afternoon, Bradley Products. I believe he is. May I ask who's calling, please? Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Corman, could you wait just a moment, please? Good. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Corman. Working the equipment, logging calls, and so on. Even the way you talk to people. Oh, that was easy. The big difference was that here, there were a lot of situations where you had to think for yourself. Sometimes things got a little tense.
Norm Platt come back from lunch yet? Not yet. I'll sit here until he comes back, if you don't mind.
But mostly they came out okay. I just tried to treat people the way I'd like to be treated. And usually that seemed to work. The main difference between a small company and a big one is that here, nothing is completely cut and dried. For example, Barbara's the receptionist and the switchboard operator. But plenty of times she does copying and mailing, or helps with the typing.
Hi, Miss Bradley. Hi, Mr. Bradley.
Things are a lot freer in a small company. I mean, here I could kid around with the president. But somehow, after all those phone calls and all those visitors, I began to think that dealing with the public all day was not for me. In my next assignment, the public was all on tapes and punch cards. This company provided all kinds of computer services. I'd worked with the key punch and the data typewriter a little in school, so I felt all right at first. But after that, I started getting kind of lost. And I didn't think I was going to get very much out of my time here. Anyhow, I kept asking questions, and after a while, data processing began to make sense to me. I got pretty fascinated by the whole thing.
Okay, Carol. Now take tape 2811. You can look up the subject matter here in the white cards. Here you go.
Maria, the tape librarian, is taking night classes in programming so she can move up to a better job. She told me that before long, computers will replace most of the business machine operators and even file clerks. She says this is where the future is in office work. For most girls I know, this is the future, being a private secretary like Marilyn. The pay is good and the offices are nice and all that. But you don't get this kind of job unless you're really good. Fast, accurate typing and shorthand are just the beginning. You've got to understand your boss and his work so well that you sort of know what he's going to need, almost before he does. And you've got to be able to handle a lot of important things without being told what to do next.
And, Marilyn, answer this one right away. Tell him definitely no, but make it sound a little bit like yes.
I found out that a good secretary has to be more like your boss's assistant, besides doing all the routine office jobs.
He wants to speak with you, too. Now, if you'll tell me what time you'll be free this afternoon, I'll be sure and have him return your call then. Around 3?
And she has to be a real diplomat, too. But she gets good raises and even gets to travel sometimes.
Right, goodbye. I have a meeting 10:30 tomorrow in Cleveland. Will you get me on a flight out here tonight? And make that a dinner flight if you can. And give me a different hotel. That last place was terrible.
Well, Mr. Donahue will be out of town until Wednesday evening, Mr. Fleischer.
I want to do. I mean, I like people okay, but... Well, I guess I found out that I just don't like having them breathing down my back all day. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, there's nothing to be sorry about. That's why I'm here, and that's why we have programs like this. Now, did any of the other jobs seem interesting to you?
Well, don't laugh. But I really like data processing. It's not easy work either, but I really liked it. I don't know, I guess it's because it's a better atmosphere or something.
Data processing. It's very interesting that you should choose a field like that. You know, data processing is becoming more and more important in, well, all fields of clerical work. Would you like to know more about it?
Oh, I really would.
If you are interested in some aspect of clerical work, there are actually several hundred different types of jobs in the field. Your teachers and counselors can help you find out about opportunities, conditions, and trends where you live.
So that actress was in The Lunatic, which is a Centron film. But I don't know her name. But she gets venereal disease from Richard, who is a artist type, who won't call her back when she tries to confront him, because he is the lunatic. Yeah, I'd love to show that film at some point. Maybe this week. I don't know. It's a venereal disease film, but it doesn't actually. It deals with the social aspects of venereal disease and not the genitals and the germs. It's more about the trying to dissuade young people from having sex with other young people who they don't really know their backgrounds. It's pretty great. Centron has a lot of really good venereal disease films. They did Innocent Party, they did Dance Little Children, and all of them have really good songs, I think. Lunatic has a very good song. That was written by the guy who later went on to write Shake Hands with Danger. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. What time is it? 10. I'll do a couple more films. Couple more. Oh, I was going to ask you some questions. Oh, yeah. So I have the choosing the job, careers in the office questionnaire. So here's some things that you can do. The idea is that, so you would show this film as part of a unit on, like, careers class in either high school, in junior college or community college. So anyways, the teacher would show this film, and then there would be these discussion points. So there would be things like, oh wow, there's even a script in here too. Huh, that's interesting. No credits though. We don't get to find out who our mystery lady is. Okay, anyways, so for discussion, and you can answer this in your comments. Do you have an idea of what kind of career you want? Why have you chosen this type of work? That's kind of boring. Why did Carol learn about the requirements of each position that she tried? What types of office jobs did you see in the film? What preparation would you need for the job of your choice? Was Maria correct in her statement that computers will soon replace most business machine operators, even file clerks? You bet your bippy. All right, and then there was, for class participation, here's some suggestions that the teacher would do, such as take the class to visit local business firms, both large and small, to determine job opportunities and working environment. Have students select a job and make an analysis to determine the duties, skill requirements, educational preparation, and training, salary range, and opportunities for advancement. Present speakers from large and small companies to discuss job opportunities and requirements. Ask former graduates to tell the class how they chose their jobs. Invite someone from the State Employment Office to explain how they can help people choose a job. Arrange to have an interest aptitude test administered to the students who have not yet decided on the kind of work that they want to do or who wish an evaluation of their abilities. The ASVAB. Which I have filmed about that. It's funny, yeah, somebody called me out on saying, like, oh, I have a film about that. But I do. Let's see what we got here. There's films, like, immediately around me, so I'm like, oh, I forgot to pull it. Let's see. Alright, I'm just going to go for it. I'll go for a crowd pleaser. This one I was actually on local public radio, coincidentally talking about personal hygiene in the midst of panic about coronavirus. I was actually asked to be on there because there was some discussion about like shaving your legs in the shower or something, and so the producers looked online to see if they could find examples of personal hygiene from the past, and they stumbled across my site and they invited me on, and I ended up talking mostly about this film. It was one of the films that I got in the first big batch of 500 films that I got in an auction. That kind of changed my brain chemistry and made me want to collect films whenever I could. This one's called Soapy the Germ Fighter. I have shown it many times. It's so good. And so enjoy.
Billy Martin is one of the nicest boys in our town. He's one of the cleanest boys, too. Billy always has been a nice boy. But he hasn't always been so clean. As a matter of fact, for a long time, Billy's parents worried about him. They didn't worry just because Billy got dirt on his hands and face. They knew that a boy is bound to get dirty when he's playing cowboy and runs into a bandit down by the corral. Billy's parents did worry because he was so careless about washing when he should have washed. He had to be reminded almost every time, and even then he didn't do a very good job. The trouble was, Billy had the wrong idea about being clean.
Wash, wash, wash. They just want me to be a sissy.
But then, one night, Billy had a dream. At least, I guess it was a dream.
I bet cowboys don't wash all the time.
But you're wrong, Billy. It's not sissy to be clean.
Who said that? Who's there?
I did. One of your best friends. Let me introduce myself. Soapy's the name, partner.
Why, you're a living cake of soap.
Big as life, Billy. And I'm here to help you. I can help you, partner.
But I don't quite understand.
That's just the trouble. So many boys and girls don't understand what a good friend I can be. So I'd like to show you. May I?
Why, yes, I do.
Well then, just lie down and close your eyes. That's right. Now, what do you see?
Why, I see a cowboy. He's washing up.
That's right. There's nothing sissy about that cowboy, is there? He's a bronco buster. He rides wild horses. Well, Billy, you and I must tame animals more dangerous than bucking broncos. I help you control animals that could make you sick. Now, close your eyes again, and I'll show you. The animals I help you control are called disease germs. They are so tiny you can't see them, except with a microscope, like this man is using. Disease germs are dangerous because they make you sick if too many of them get inside of you. And they can be on almost anything that children touch or handle, even on things that look clean. If you get disease germs on your hands, and then put your hands in your eyes, or in your mouth, those disease germs can get inside of you. But you and I can kill most of the germs on your hands, so they can't make you sick, if we work as partners. So be a germ fighter with me. Learn good hand habits. Boys and girls should wash their hands often, especially at certain times. Wash your hands before doing anything that has to do with food. Before handling food in the kitchen. Before setting the table. Before eating at any time. And always remember to wash your hands before brushing your teeth. Wash your hands after doing anything that gets them very dirty. After playing games. After playing with animals. And especially after going to the toilet. You and I can be partners in other clean habits, Billy. We can do a fine job together, each time you bathe all over. And of course you should take a bath or shower each time you've been working or playing hard, not just on Saturday nights. You should wash your hair often. Boys can do it easily, each time they take a bath or shower. Girls should wash their hair at least once every 2 weeks. You can see, Billy, that I am your partner, but you have other health friends. Every community has a health department, just as it has a fire department and a police department. And one of your best friends is the health officer. He's a germ fighter, too. Health officers fight germs in many ways. They know how to look for germs. This health officer is testing a drinking glass from your school cafeteria. And now a health officer checks the cafeteria windows to be sure that flies can't get in. Flies carry dangerous germs on their feet. Health laws say that food must be clean. Health officers must see that cows are clean and healthy, so their milk will not have germs. Another health officer, the meat inspector, makes sure that meat is clean and safe. The mark shows that this meat is clean. But health officers can't do everything for you. You must be your own health officer, Billy. Since germs can get inside of you through your mouth, be sure that food is clean before you eat it. Be sure that dishes are clean before you use them for food. Never take a bite from someone else's food. That's right. Break off a piece to share your cookie. And keep food covered, safe from flies when you eat outside. Remember, flies carry dangerous germs on their feet. When you drink from a glass, be sure that it is clean. It's a good idea to have your own drinking glass. When you drink at a fountain, keep your mouth away from the nozzle. And there's one more important thing, Billy. Your clothes. You know, a cowboy wears working clothes when he's out on the range because he gets dusty and dirty. But when he's ready to go into town, after I've helped him wash up, he puts on his clean clothes. Children get dusty and dirty when they play games. You should wear old clothes when you play. But when you're through playing, when you clean up for dinner, you should change to clean clothes. You see, Billy, being clean in every way is an important part of being healthy. And being healthy is an important part of being happy.
I see that now, Soapy. You are a good friend and partner.
That's right. Well, so long. So long, partner, and don't forget.
I won't, Soapy.
And Billy didn't forget. He's one of the cleanest boys in our town now. He's one of the healthiest. And certainly, he's one of the happiest.
All right. Love me some Soapy. Absolutely love Soapy the Germ Fighter. Like, how do you get young boys interested in washing and not being a sissy? Well, you show them their their heroes, cowboys, and you have a giant cake of soap who is a germ fighter instead of a gun fighter. And I don't know if you noticed, there's these kind of pantaloons on Soapy, and he doesn't really talk like, he's not really affecting like a cowboy, like Western accent. He's kind of talking, I don't know, it's a little, it's really odd and unnerving for so many reasons. That was Avis Films. Avis Films, I have a couple of films that they made. There's one on the abacus, which teaches kind of math and place values. And then there's another one called Health Habits, which also kind of talks more about having a healthy diet and keeping clean and all that. And there's more out there which I haven't identified yet, but yeah, Soapy, man, so good, so good. I think I'm going to call it for tonight because we've been doing it for a little more than an hour and a half. And if you are around tomorrow for lunch, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, come on by, and by come on by I mean come by my Facebook page or the YouTube channel, and we'll watch some new films. And they will not be germ related. They will be palate cleansers for a day of looking at spreadsheets and occasionally looking at the news or Facebook to see what's happening in the world. I will give you a vision of the past, and we'll try not to have anything that's related to current events. Although it's bound to happen. Bound to happen. So anyways, thanks again. Tell your friends. I would love to see more of you tomorrow. We're doing it every lunchtime this week. We're going to give it a shot and see what happens, so that we don't go stir crazy over here. I mean, we are going to go stir crazy over here, but this is an opportunity for me to do what I do without having to schlep equipment and coughing all over you. Thank God my bronchitis is cleared up, because that would be a difficult thing to have nowadays. People would not like me. Anyways, hopefully we'll see you soon. Have a good night, and maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.